Listen up, Fever fans. If you care about Caitlin Clark's future in the WNBA, you need to hear this. What I'm about to expose will shock you, and it should make you furious. Before we dive into this explosive story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next on this channel. The Indiana Fever locker room is in complete chaos, and there's one person at the center of it all: Natasha Howard. What started as championship hopes has turned into a nightmare scenario that's threatening to derail Caitlin Clark's career. And I've got the receipts to prove it. Remember when the Fever promised to protect the locker room culture? Well, they've failed spectacularly. First, they had to waive DeWanna Bonner after she threw a tantrum about not starting. Now, they've got an even bigger problem on their hands. Natasha Howard isn't just unhappy, she's actively sabotaging the best point guard in the league. Let me paint you a picture of what happened just yesterday against the Atlanta Dream. Third quarter, final seconds. The Fever get a defensive stop, and Caitlin Clark is sprinting up the court for a fast break opportunity. This is basketball 101. You get the ball to your point guard and let her work her magic. But what does Natasha Howard do? She completely freezes out Clark, refuses to pass the ball, starts dribbling up the court herself like she's Magic Johnson or something. The problem? She can't even dribble properly. She literally travels, gets away with it, and by the time she finally gives up the rock, the possession is wasted. The entire arena saw it. The cameras caught it, and fans are absolutely losing their minds. But wait, let me tell you what makes this even more insane. The crowd actually started booing. Not the refs, not the other team. They were booing Natasha Howard, a home crowd booing their own player because they could see what was happening. That's how obvious this sabotage has become. One fan sitting courtside was overheard yelling, "Pass the damn ball to 22." Even casual fans who barely know the rules could see something was seriously wrong with this picture. Here's where it gets juicier. This isn't an isolated incident. I've been tracking Howard's behavior all season, and the pattern is disturbing. She's consistently looking off Clark in transition, diving into her driving lanes and disrupting the offense. In one game, Clark is turning the corner on a drive, and Howard, who's supposed to be spacing the floor in the corner, literally runs directly into Clark's path. That's not a mistake at that level. That's intentional sabotage. Let me break this down for the folks who might not understand basketball strategy. When you're standing in the corner and your point guard drives, you have exactly two jobs: stay put or drift to the opposite corner. That's it. It's literally easier than tying your shoes. But Howard, she decides to play bumper cars with the franchise player. I've seen middle school teams with better spacing awareness. Hell, I've seen pickup games at the YMCA with better basketball IQ than what Howard displayed. You want to know the real kicker? Howard went on Sue Bird's podcast and had the audacity to say, "This isn't Iowa anymore. She doesn't need to do everything." Translation: this is my team now, and Caitlin needs to fall in line. The disrespect is off the charts. But here's what Howard doesn't understand. When you have a generational talent like Caitlin Clark, you don't try to limit her, you maximize her. It's like having a Ferrari and deciding to only drive it in first gear because you think your 1992 Honda Civic deserves equal road time. The stupidity is mind-blowing. Let's talk about what makes this even more outrageous. In the preseason, Howard straight up told reporters her goal was to be MVP. MVP lady, you joined Caitlin Clark's team, not the other way around. The delusion is real, folks. She thinks she's part of the big three with Clark in Boston. Newsflash: you're not. You're a role player who's supposed to complement the franchise player, not compete with her. And speaking of delusion, let's talk about Howard's actual performance this season. She's shooting 25% from 3. 25? That's one make for every 4 attempts. My grandmother could shoot better than that, and she's been dead for 10 years. Yet somehow, Howard thinks she deserves more touches than the player who led the entire league in assists as a rookie. Make it make sense. The numbers don't lie either. When Howard first joined the team, she was averaging 29.2 minutes per game. Now, she's down to 21.4 minutes. You know why? Because the team plays better without her on the court. During their recent runs, guess who's been riding the bench? That's right, Natasha Howard. I pulled up the advanced stats, and they're even more damning. The Fever's offensive rating with Clark on the court and Howard off, 115.3. With both on the court, it drops to 106.7. That's nearly a 9-point swing. For context, that's the difference between a championship offense and a lottery team offense. The numbers are screaming what we can all see with our eyes. Howard is killing this team's potential. But wait, it gets better, or should I say worse. When Caitlin Clark was injured and couldn't play in the Commissioner's Cup, guess who suddenly turned into a superstar? Natasha Howard wins MVP of that game with 16 points and 12 rebounds. Coincidence? I think not. The one game where she doesn't have to share the spotlight with Clark, and suddenly she's playing like prime Shaq. Give me a break. You know what's even more suspicious about that Commissioner's Cup game? Howard was actually passing the ball, making the extra pass, playing team basketball, so she knows how to do it. She just chooses not to when Clark is on the court. That's not incompetence, folks. That's malice. That's deliberate undermining of a teammate. In any other workplace, that would be grounds for immediate termination. Here's what really grinds my gears. The Fever brought in Howard for her championship experience. 3 rings, they said. Veteran leadership, they said. But what good is championship experience when you're actively destroying team chemistry? What good is veteran leadership when you're acting like a jealous rookie? Let me tell you something about real championship experience. When the Spurs had their dynasty, you think Tim Duncan was freezing out Tony Parker because he wanted more touches? When the Warriors were dominating, was Draymond Green refusing to pass to Steph Curry? Hell no! Real champions understand their roles and play them to perfection. Howard's got 3 rings, but apparently she learned nothing about what it actually takes to win. Let me break down the basketball IQ fail here. When your point guard, especially when that point guard is Caitlin freaking Clark, is pushing the pace, your job as a forward is simple. Sprint to your spot, space the floor, and be ready to catch and shoot. It's not rocket science. But Howard wants to be the star. She wants to bring the ball up. She wants to make the plays. The funniest part? She can't even dribble. Watching her try to bring the ball up the court is like watching a giraffe on roller skates. It's painful, it's embarrassing, and it's costing the Fever games. I've seen better ball handling at a grocery store. At least when people fumble oranges, they're not getting paid millions to do it. Let me tell you something about real championship experience. When the Spurs had their dynasty, you think Tim Duncan was freezing out Tony Parker because he wanted more touches? When the Warriors were dominating, was Draymond Green refusing to pass to Steph Curry? Hell no! Real champions understand their roles and play them to perfection. Howard's got 3 rings, but apparently she learned nothing about what it actually takes to win. Let me break down the basketball IQ fail here. When your point guard, especially when that point guard is Caitlin freaking Clark, is pushing the pace, your job as a forward is simple. Sprint to your spot, space the floor, and be ready to catch and shoot. It's not rocket science. But Howard wants to be the star. She wants to bring the ball up. She wants to make the plays. The funniest part? She can't even dribble. Watching her try to bring the ball up the court is like watching a giraffe on roller skates. It's painful, it's embarrassing, and it's costing the Fever games. I've seen better ball handling at a grocery store. At least when people fumble oranges, they're not getting paid millions to do it. Fans are comparing Howard to cancer in the locker room, and honestly, that might be too kind. At least DeWanna Bonner had the decency to be obvious about her unhappiness. Howard is playing mind games, pretending everything is fine while actively undermining the team's success. Social media is going absolutely nuclear over this. One viral tweet said, "Natasha Howard treating Caitlin Clark like she's some random rookie instead of the person selling out arenas is insane." That tweet has over 50,000 likes. Another fan posted a compilation video of all the times Howard has frozen out Clark, and it's already at 2 million views. The evidence is so overwhelming that even casual fans who don't normally follow the WNBA are chiming in. The solution is simple. Natasha Howard needs to go today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, ship her back to Dallas where she can shoot all the shots she wants on a lottery team. The Fever don't need her fake veteran leadership. They don't need her subpar shooting, 25% from 3 by the way. And they definitely don't need her ego destroying what could be a championship team. Let's talk money for a second, because this is costing the Fever more than just games. Caitlin Clark merchandise is flying off the shelves, jersey sales are through the roof, season ticket sales have never been higher. The Fever are making more money than they've ever made, and it's all because of one player. You really want to risk losing all that because you can't manage one jealous veteran? The business side alone should make this decision a no-brainer. Look, I get it. Howard was once a great player. 3 championships, all-star appearances, defensive player of the year, but that was then. This is now. And right now, she's nothing but a liability. Her defense isn't making up for the chaos she's creating on offense. Her experience isn't worth the locker room drama. You want to know what's really pathetic? Howard is 33 years old. 33. She's supposed to be the mature veteran showing the young players how to win. Instead, she's acting like a spoiled teenager who didn't get picked first in gym class. It's embarrassing, it's unprofessional, and it's unacceptable. The most frustrating part? The Fever had everything lined up perfectly. They kept Kelsey Mitchell, added Sophie Cunningham for shooting, brought in Stephanie White as coach. All the pieces were there for a championship run, but one bad apple is spoiling the whole bunch. Here's what kills me. Other teams are watching this disaster unfold and laughing. The Liberty, the Aces, the Lynx, they're all thinking, thanks for the free championship, Indiana, because that's what this is. The Fever are literally handing away their title chances because they can't handle one problem player. It's organizational malpractice at the highest level. Here's my message to Natasha Howard. You want to be the star? You want to be MVP? Cool. Request a trade. Go join a bottom feeder team where you can put up empty stats. But get out of Caitlin Clark's way. This isn't your team. It never was, and it never will be. And to the Fever front office, you've already seen what happens when you let veteran egos run wild. DeWanna Bonner was strike one. Don't let Natasha Howard be strike two. Your young stars asked you to protect the locker room. It's time to step up and do your job. Think about the message this sends to Caitlin Clark. You draft her, you market her as the face of the franchise, you sell tickets based on her name, and then you let a role player disrespect her on the court? If I'm Clark, I'm already thinking about where I want to play when my rookie contract is up. Is that really what you want, Fever management? To drive away the best thing that's ever happened to your franchise? The evidence is overwhelming. The video clips don't lie. The body language is clear as day. Natasha Howard is purposely sabotaging Caitlin Clark, and it needs to stop immediately. Every game this continues is another game where Clark can't reach her full potential. Every possession Howard hijacks is a possession stolen from greatness. And let's be real about what's at stake here. This isn't just about the Fever. This is about the growth of women's basketball. Caitlin Clark has brought more eyes to the WNBA than anyone in recent memory. She's must-see TV, she's appointment viewing, and Natasha Howard is actively making the product worse. She's not just hurting the Fever, she's hurting the entire league. Fever fans, it's time to make your voices heard. The organization needs to know that we see what's happening and we won't stand for it. Caitlin Clark deserves better, Aaliyah Boston deserves better, the city of Indianapolis deserves better. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about respect. It's about knowing your role. It's about putting the team above your own ego. And Natasha Howard has failed on all three counts. The championship window is open right now, but it won't stay open forever if this toxic situation continues. The Fever have a choice to make: protect their franchise player or enable a jealous veteran who's past her prime. I think we all know what the right choice is. The question is, will they have the courage to make it? If you agree that Natasha Howard needs to go, smash that like button and drop a comment below. Share this video with every Fever fan you know. It's time to clean house and build the championship team Caitlin Clark deserves. Subscribe for more truth bombs about what's really happening in the WNBA, and remember, we're just getting started. The truth always comes to light, and today we exposed it all.